Well, as the brutal crackdown on protesters in Libya intensifies today, there is a real and growing concern about a possible revolt in Saudi Arabia. And that, folks, could be a game changer. The longtime U.S. ally is responsible for over 11% of the world's oil production and a big protector of Western interests in the Middle East. Fox News contributor Charles Krauthammer with this rather scary warning about the potential fallout of a major uprising there.
The big one is March 11th. There's a Facebook call in Saudi Arabia for a day of rage all over Saudi Arabia on March 11th. Now, the Saudis have really good intelligence. They are tough, they're ruthless, and they're effective. There isn't a lot of anti-government activity in Saudi Arabia. If, however, for example, in the eastern provinces, which are Shiite, you get major eruptions on March 11th, all hell is breaking loose.
Joining me now, John Bolton, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador, thanks for being here. That's a scary warning, and he's talking about a date that is right around the corner, March 11th. What do you make of it?
Well, I think there's reason to be concerned, particularly because of the demonstrations going on in Bahrain, an island just off the Saudi coast, where you have a population that's 70% Shiite protesting against the rulers, the monarchy that's Sunni. And there's a lot of concern that Iran is trying to manipulate this discontent, and that if they were able to overthrow the monarchy in Bahrain, that could have spillover effect into Saudi Arabia. So I think that's the principal point of concern, and I think it's something we should be legitimately worried about.
You know, originally this started in Tunisia, it spread to Egypt, and there was an assumption, I think, that this was going to happen sort of in the poorer countries, and that we didn't necessarily have to worry about these spreading to areas where living standards weren't quite as much of an issue. That has proved to be wrong-headed.
Well, I don't think fundamentally economics really lies at the bottom of it. I don't believe in this primitive economic determinism of the Marxists. I think actually there are a variety of factors, and I think Saudi Arabia, Bahrain at the moment, really very different from Egypt and Tunisia, and certainly very different from Libya. So that while the unrest may have been promoted by social networking and quick communications, the underlying causes are different. And the consequences could be very different as well.
You know, as we look forward to this, look ahead, I should say, to this March 11th date in Saudi Arabia, and Americans get a little nervous, when you see uprisings there in that country. We have to worry because they are such an important U.S. ally. And the question is, if we happen to see in Saudi Arabia something akin to what we saw in Egypt, what would it mean for us? I want to play a quick soundbite from Krauthammer on that and get you to react.
Because Saudi Arabia is the prize, it's the treasure. I mean, it's the gold at the end of the rainbow. It's everything for the world economy. And then you have to think of Western intervention if something like that happens.
Western intervention?
Well, I think we've been concerned about the stability of oil flows out of the Persian Gulf for the last 20 years, and for good reason, because in this case it's not just the Saudis. The Emirates in Kuwait, in Qatar, in the United Arab Emirates, also major oil producers would be jeopardized if Saudi were endangered by the Iranians. So I think as a point of concern for the U.S. economy, what bothers people on a day-to-day basis, you think gas prices are high now, wait until further instability spreads into Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and the others, if in fact that happens. So even though Egypt, a huge country, 85 million people, was in the headlines for the past month, Saudi Arabia and the other oil-producing countries are far more important to the United States on a daily basis than the others.
Would be a much bigger deal. And here we are headed towards March 11th when they will have this day, and we will watch. Ambassador Bolton, thank you so much.
Thank you.